What's up, everybody? It's Benjamin here this morning, getting ready to dive into 1 Corinthians chapter 3. We've already seen in 1 and 2 where Paul discusses the power and wisdom of God. Here in chapter 3, we see that he still has not given the church of Corinth the correction for the uncorrected sin, the reports of sexual immorality and those things in the church. Here he begins to tell them how they've arrived at where they're at, and he starts in chapter 3 telling them that they were mature believers. They were immature believers when he first came to them in Corinth, and further he tells them that they are still immature believers, and he gets into telling them why they are still immature believers, which I think is very powerful for what we see in today's world with the likes of social media and gaining followers, and also as well as who we follow. And Paul makes it clear to him. He says, I know that you are immature because you prove to still be controlled by your sinful nature. He says, I can see this by the fact that some of you have separated in the church by saying, I follow Paul or I follow Apollos. He's saying, after all, aren't we just people in this world? And he says, you're just acting like the people of the world, because only people of the world would follow people in the world. And man, does that make you look at your social medias just a little bit differently? Not to say that as believers we shouldn't follow people or have followers on our social media sites, but that what's at the heart of us gaining followers and pursuing people to follow. And here we see just what Paul is getting into. Paul says, after all, who is Apollos? Who is Paul? We are only God's servants. He's saying we only did God's work. He says, I planted the seed and Apollos watered the seed, but it was God who made it grow. He's saying, why can't you see that this is God's work? This is not the work of man. It can't be. He's saying this is God's work. And so essentially what has happened here is the church of Corinth, the people there were following Paul and Apollos based on who they were and the things that they did. So they were not interested in following God. They were only interested in associating themselves with people who were. Is this not us? Do we not do this with our lives? By looking at some of your social medias, I would gather that you are very into fitness and the gym life and working out and doing all those things, living healthy, eating healthy. But if I actually opened up your refrigerator and your cupboards, I would find out that you're not as about it as your social medias would suggest, and that you're more just associated with and follow people who are committed to that lifestyle. To the same token, some of your social medias would tell me that you're about doing whatever it takes to get money and having nice things and doing working hard and grinding, rise and grind, that you're about that life. And if I was to look into some of your finances and those things, maybe I would see that you're in debt trying to keep that image up. You just